Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and welcome back everyone. So now we will continue in discussing how to sketch the graph of quadratic function. So a quadratic function has its general equation as ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. So please be noticed that this c here should give us the y-intercept straight away. And for quadratic function, we have two basic shapes that is need to be memorized. So we have the first one, which is the smile shape, and the next one is the sad shape. So suppose when a is positive, so we will have the smile shape, and suppose when a is less than 0 or negative, we will have the sad shape. So for us to sketch the quadratic function, we need to consider three cases, where the first one is, let us say it is case 1, suppose when b is equals to 0. Case 2, when the quadratic can be factorized. And case 3, suppose when the quadratic cannot be factorized. So for this video, we will emphasize on how to sketch the graph of quadratic under the case 1. Alright, so let us continue with this lesson. So suppose when case 1 happens, we do have b is equals to 0, which is therefore our quadratic function will be, for example, fx equals to ax plus c only. And for this case, we need to consider 6 cases. So the first one is, suppose that when ax squared, where the a is positive, so the graph should be passes through the origin like this. And the next one is, suppose when we have ax squared plus c and a is still positive, so this plus c here tells us that the graph is shifted vertically upwards by c units. So the graph should be like this. And what about ax squared minus c? Alright, so the graph should be shifted vertically downwards by c units. For example, like this. Alright, so basically, suppose now we have ax squared and the a now is less than 0. Okay, so which is, we have the sad shape, so it will be like this. And suppose when we have this one, for ax squared plus c, so we have the graph is shift vertically upwards by c, but with the sad shape, it is like this. And the last one, ax squared minus c, where a is negative, should be something like this. Alright, so in quadratic function, we have to determine its minimum or maximum point. Suppose that the graph is in smile shape, we will have its minimum point here, for example. This one, this is the minimum point, and this is also the minimum point, and this is also the minimum point. And suppose when the graph is in its sad shape, we will have its maximum point. For example, we will have this one as the maximum point, and also this one, and also this one. Alright, so now let us discuss few examples on how to sketch the graph of quadratic under the case 1. So the instruction is to sketch the following graph and hence state its domain and range. So we have fx equals to x squared plus 3. First and foremost, please look at the shape of the graph. So since we have positive x squared here, so our shape of the graph should be smile shape. And this plus 3 here tells us that the graph is shifted vertically upwards by 3 units. So the graph should be like this. and we will label 3 here, and therefore we can obtain the domain. For example, in this case it is df, which is equals to interval of x, which define the graph, so which is negative infinity up to positive infinity, and range of f is the interval of y. So for quadratic function, we need to look for the minimum or maximum point. In this case, we have minimum point since the x squared is positive. So this is the lowest point where the graph can meet, and hence, therefore, our range should start from 3 up to positive infinity. Alright, so let us proceed to the second question. So we have fx equals to x squared minus 3. First and foremost, again, please look for the shape of the graph. We have x squared here, so it is positive x squared, so we will have the smile shape, and we have negative 3 here, which means the graph is shifted vertically downwards by 3 units. So the shape of the graph should be like this. So this one is negative 3, please label there. And as we can clearly see here, the graph passes through the x-axis, which means it is compulsory for us to find the x-intercepts. So in order for us to get the x-intercept, we will do x squared minus 3 equals to 0 and solving this equation. So we will have x squared equals to 3, and hence x is equals to plus minus sed 3. And please make sure that we label all of the intercept available. So this one is positive sed 3. So we need to find the domain now. So we have the domain of f for this one, which is negative infinity up to positive infinity, and the range for quadratic function, we need to look for its minimum or maximum point. In this case, the lowest point where the graph can meet is negative 3 down here, so which means therefore our range should start from negative 3 close bracket up to positive infinity. Alright, so question number 3. We have fx equals to negative x squared plus 2, and we will leave this for you to do on your own, and the answer for this question will be shown in our next video. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much.